The game is up. The shadows have been lifted, and the untouchables are finally feeling the cold steel of handcuffs. If you thought the war against banditry was just about chasing ragtag criminals in the bush, you need to pull up a chair because the story has just changed. We are talking about the money, the sponsors, and the big names hiding behind titles. Breaking news reaching us today, January 29, 2026, confirms that the security dragnet has caught a very big fish. A top leader of the Miyetti Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Makban, in Kwara State, has been arrested. And he wasn't just picked up for a chat. Reports say he is being held for the alleged sponsorship of armed bandits and kidnapping rings. But here is the kicker: the millions involved. We are looking at a scandal that could tear the mask off the face of terrorism financing in Nigeria. The man at the center of this storm is identified in reports as Idris Abubakar, a high-ranking figure within the Miyetti hierarchy in Kwara. Security operatives swooped in on him in a precision operation that has left the entire North Central buzzing. This is not just an arrest, it is a statement. For years, we have heard rumors. We have heard whispers that the people fueling the insecurity are not in the forest, they are in the cities, sitting in air-conditioned offices, attending meetings, and issuing press releases. Today, those whispers are becoming screaming headlines. I know you want the full details, the money, the betrayal, and the frantic denials that are already flying around. So before we dig deep into this explosive report, do me a huge favor. If you want to see the end of banditry in Nigeria and you support the exposure of these sponsors, go ahead and smash that like button. It helps us spread this news to every corner of the country. And if you are new here, you are welcome to the home of undiluted truth. Click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell right now. You do not want to miss the updates that will follow this story. Now, let's get into the meat of the matter. According to breaking reports from The Nation and other credible sources on January 28 and 29, 2026, Idris Abubakar was picked up following intense intelligence gathering. The allegations are heavy. We are talking about the funding of kidnapping operations that have plagued the Ilorin, Offa, and Ekiti axis. You recall the recent spike in kidnappings in Kwara. The security agencies didn't just sleep on it, they tracked the money. And where did the trail lead? Allegedly, straight to the doorstep of a man sworn to represent the interest of cattle breeders. But wait, it gets even more dramatic. As soon as this news broke, the damage control began. Another faction of the association, led by one Alhaji Shehu Garba, immediately issued a statement. And what did they say? They called the arrest fabricated. They said it is a lie from the enemies of peace. This is the classic Nigerian script, isn't it? Whenever a big man is caught, suddenly there are enemies at work. But the security sources are standing firm. They are not talking about politics here. They are talking about evidence. They are talking about phone records, transaction logs, and confessions from foot soldiers who have been captured in recent weeks. The most shocking part of this gist is the financial angle. While the headline screams "caught with millions," we need to understand what that means. It's not just cash under a mattress. It represents the illicit flow of ransom money. When you pay ransom for a loved one, do you ever wonder where that cash goes? It doesn't stay in the bush. It moves. It is laundered. And intelligence reports suggest that some of these community leaders act as the bankers for the boys in the bush. They help clean the money. They help buy the supplies. They are the logistics commanders. If Idris Abubakar is indeed guilty as alleged, it proves that the rot is deep within the leadership structures that claim to be victims of the crisis. This arrest in Kwara is not an isolated incident. You have to look at the bigger picture of what is happening in 2026. The federal government, under the pressure of the new Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Protocols, has been promising to name and shame sponsors. We heard threats from the presidency late last year. We saw the US government sanctioning individuals. Now it seems the Nigerian Department of State Services, the DSS, and the police are finally biting. They are moving from unknown gunmen to known sponsors. Think about the implications for the North Central region. Kwara has always been relatively peaceful compared to Zamfara or Kaduna, but in the last year, it became a hotbed. Why? Because when you squeeze the bandits in the northwest, they migrate. They look for new safe havens, and they need local collaborators to settle in. They need someone to tell them this forest is safe or that road is good for operations. The allegation against the Miyetti Allah leader suggests he might have been that link, the bridge between the hardened terrorists of the northwest and the peaceful plains of Kwara. And let's not forget the national context. This comes at a time when the national president of Miyetti Allah, Kautal Hore, Bello Bodejo, has been in and out of court battles over the creation of that nomad vigilante group. Remember that? The government said it was an illegal militia. The association said it was for self-defense. Now, with this new arrest in Kwara involving another leader, the government's case that these groups are becoming states within a state gains more weight. It paints a picture of an organization that has lost control of its members, or worse, an organization that has been hijacked by criminal elements. The denial by Alhaji Shehu Garba is interesting though. He claims that Idris Abubakar is innocent and that this is a plot to tarnish the image of the Fulani herders. He insists that they are law-abiding. And yes, we must be fair. There are millions of innocent herders who are just trying to survive. They are victims of cattle rustling too. But when leadership is implicated, it stains the whole fabric. It makes it harder for the innocent herder to be trusted by the farmer. It fuels the ethnic tension that has nearly destroyed the Middle Belt. That is why this investigation must be transparent. We don't want a media trial, we want facts. If he is innocent, let him go. But if the millions are traced to him, if the calls to kidnappers are on his phone, then he must face the music. I want to ask you, the viewers, do you think this is just the tip of the iceberg? Do you believe the government has the political will to go after the real big barons, or are they just picking the low-hanging fruit? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them. And as you type, check if you are subscribed. We are building a community of thinkers here, and I want you to be part of it. Let's also talk about the millions mentioned. In the world of kidnapping, millions of naira are exchanged daily. But where does it go? It buys weapons, it buys drugs, it bribes officials. If a leader is caught with millions that cannot be explained by cattle sales, the ECFC needs to step in. This is where the intersection of financial crime and terrorism meets. We saw reports earlier this month about the government tracking terrorism financiers. Is this the result of that tracking? Is Idris Abubakar just the first name to be revealed? There is also a political angle we cannot ignore. 2027 is coming. I know, it's 2026, but the politicians are already calculating. Some analysts are saying that these arrests are part of a cleanup strategy to secure the North Central vote. You cannot campaign in a state that is under siege by bandits, so the government is desperate to show results. They need to show that nobody is above the law. But we must be careful that security operations don't become political witch hunts. That is why we need the courts to do their job swiftly. The people of Kwara are watching. The families of kidnapped victims are watching. They want to know if the man who smiled at them in the market was the same man signing off on their abduction. It's a chilling thought. It breaks the trust of the community. It makes you look at your neighbor twice. But exposure is the first step to healing. You cannot treat a wound if you don't clean out the infection. And right now, the security agencies are scrubbing hard. We are also keeping an eye on the reaction from the national body of Miyetti Allah. Will they disown the Kwara leader? Will they hire a battery of lawyers to defend him? Their reaction will tell us a lot. If they support him blindly despite evidence, it shows complicity. If they allow the law to take its course, it shows a willingness to reform. The coming days will be critical. As we wrap up this report, remember that the fight against insecurity is not just about guns, it is about intelligence. It is about following the money. The arrest of Idris Abubakar is a significant victory for intelligence-driven operations, but it is not the end. It is just the beginning of unraveling the web. Thank you for staying with me on this journey. We will continue to track this case. We will follow the court proceedings. We will follow the money. If you found this update useful, please share this video on your WhatsApp status and Facebook groups. Let Nigerians know that the game has changed. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and never stop demanding a better, safer Nigeria. I will see you in the next update.